wasn't working. So we decided, again, I'm happy to tell you that as a ministry, we have ended that culture of buying and selling fertilizer, tractors. Today, we are running what is called agricultural equipment hiring enterprises, run by the private sector, tractor manufacturers themselves. They will provide their own tractors, they will provide their own equipment, they will do the services themselves. All the farmers are going to do, they will get their allocations on their mobile phones for what we call mechanization grants. The grants will go to the farmers. They will go to any of these agricultural equipment hiring enterprises and hire anything they want in any part of the country. Next slide. That is when Mr. President launched that, and he put in 50 billion naira from the Central Bank of Nigeria for Nigeria's agricultural equipment hiring enterprises. Why is the president doing this? Very clear. We want to make hoe and cutlasses to go back into the museums because they only belong on the museums, they don't belong on the farms. And so, I just came back from Zamfara State where we launched it. What will this do for us? There will be 1,200 of those across the country. They will have 6,000 units of tractors and implements, 15,000 power tillers, 20,000 planting and post-harvest equipments. The farmers, I said, will get the grants over their e-wallets. This will mechanize 4 million hectares of land in Nigeria and add an additional 20 million metric tons of food to our domestic food supply and create 200,000 direct and indirect jobs. Next slide, you will see we are investing heavily in infrastructure. This, what you see here, are silo complexes. These silo complexes are 33 of them across the country. They have a total capacity of 1.1 million metric tons across the country. We are investing in warehouses so that when farmers have their produce, they can take it there. I don't mean a house, I mean a warehouse that is totally conditioned with temperature controlled. 9 of them are we're starting with. And we have an investor from America called Bloomberg Grain, who is investing $250 million in Nigeria to make Nigeria the hub for the manufacturing of warehouses in West and Central Africa. And we are going to use all of this to do commodity exchanges, and we are already working very hard on that. Financing, everybody talks about money. Let me tell you what has happened in terms of money. We have a facility with the Central Bank of Nigeria called NISA. That has allowed the banks to reduce their risk of lending. We reduce their risk so they can lend more. Let me give you some statistics. Seed companies in 2012, the banks lend them $10 million. In 2013, the banks lend the seed companies $53 million. Fertilizer companies and agro dealers in rural areas. One of them is here. You can get up so you can ask him all the questions. So, the press people can go and talk to him. Don't talk to me, talk to him. They're the ones doing it. The banks lent the fertilizer companies in 2012 $100 million because of that facility. But by last year, the banks lent them $500 million US. And that is what happens when we are having this kind of thing. So myself and the central bank governor call all of them, right? And I'm going to ask you, we said, how much money did you lose? 0%. Is it right or not?
It's correct.
Okay.
Very correct.
You run a facility 3 years in a row, default rate, but central bank 0%. I think you'll be happy to hear that. We have also launched a new facility, next slide please, which is called Fund for Financing Agriculture in Nigeria. This is a $100 million facility to provide long-term finance for SMEs in the agriculture space. If you're in agriculture, you don't need to just go and borrow money at 28%. Look, if you're selling cocaine, you won't even make money. But we want you to get access to finance at single-digit interest rate, long-term, 7-year, 10-year investment. That's why we did this. I'm glad to let you know that we are the first country in Africa to take public money and set up a private equity fund for SMEs in agriculture today in Africa. $100 million US with the German government. We are getting tremendous amount of support, as I wind down here, from China Exim Bank, Africa Development Bank, World Bank, well over 1.5 billion US dollars, supporting the president in the direction we are doing. And you know those organizations don't give you checks. It's a very serious business. Today, Nigeria agriculture is on global stage. I just came back from Geneva about 4 days ago, and Kofi Annan, the former UN Secretary General, was speaking at an event. He was telling all the people, the world leaders that are there, say, go to Nigeria. You can change African agriculture if you begin to do what they are doing in Nigeria. And that is the former UN Secretary General of the United Nations. We are working with other countries. As I said, they are learning from us. We are doing something called staple crop processing zones, where we are getting private sector to come into rural space, set up food processing plants, so that we are not moving raw materials out of rural areas. 14 of those master plans have been developed, and we already have $1 billion of commitments of investment from the World Bank, Africa Development Bank, the UK government, the US government, to help us upgrade power, water, roads in these particular areas. That way we can reduce the food losses that we have in rural economy and create a lot of jobs. This is Cargill. Cargill is the world's largest food producer. They are working in Kogi State with us. They're investing $100 million on 30,000 hectares with farmers there. And we see the staple crop processing zones will add between $4 to $9 billion to Nigeria's economy when we are completed with these things. So, as I close, we have attracted into this new agricultural space, in just 3 years, a total of $5.6 billion US dollars into this new space in Nigeria's agriculture, from local companies to global companies. If you look at this photograph, next one, these are the future faces of Nigeria's agriculture. I made a statement that the future millionaires and billionaires of Nigeria will come out of agriculture. We have a rapidly aging population of farmers. So the president approved a program for us called Youth Employment in Agriculture Program to create a new generation of young commercial farmers for Nigeria. Young commercial agribusiness entrepreneurs for Nigeria. These are graduates and all of that. We are going to do 750,000 of them over the next 5 years. These ones are all graduates, some of them medical doctors that were at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. They are the new faces of Nigeria's agriculture. And in the next 3 weeks, you will see we're going to have a big event or so where we actually bring all these people and you begin to see it, because that is where things is. People tell you they're looking for greener pastures, right? Green is agriculture, and you make a lot of money in agriculture. But not just these people. Look at the people that are here. You know them, Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu. You see, Komontaros, and all of these people. They may be handsome, but not as beautiful as the next person. You see, this is Alakija. And we are getting all of our guys that are in the oil and gas industry. They are all going back into agriculture. If you pick up the Financial Times, US Financial Times of just last week, Friday, you will see all the big Hollywood people. They are all going into agriculture. I'm telling you, agriculture is the coolest thing that you can have. And if you believe me, you ought to have a farm. This next slide is global leaders. This president has been able to bring global people together. That is Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, over there. That is Kofi Annan. This is the president of International Fund for Agricultural Development, meeting on Nigeria's agriculture. Do you think they will be wasting their time on something that's not working? That just tells you the caliber of people that are working with us. Next slide. Now, what has happened as I tell you the final facts? Food production. And before I say that, let me just make one distinction. Just in case some people don't understand. When you are like this, it means it's going up. When it's like this, it means it's going down. Some people, I think, out of age, don't understand the difference between up and down. Because I heard some people say agriculture in Nigeria is going down. Let me tell you, we expanded food production in this country over 3 years by a total of 21 million metric tons of food. That is up. That is not down. When it comes to food imports, the food import of Nigeria declined